Chapter 16 Lunch at the Palms. The bloody blade from Ice Father Skate is being used to put raspberry jam on an English muffin now. An older miss keeps staring at the blade before asking out of curiosity, "Why do you always use a silver butter knife?" An old couple is sitting at a table outside, near a restaurant enjoying their brunch together. The older couple is sitting around a white plastic round table, surrounded by a black fence. The older sir says, "Because I like it. That's why." The older miss shakes her head as she responds, "There is a good plastic knife on your right. Why would you use that instead?" "Oh, shut up, you tramp," says the older sir, looking frustrated. The older miss looks at the older sir and looks annoyed as she says, "Don't talk to me like that, you bastard." While the old couple is busy arguing, Dam and Airdrie walks by them. Dam looks at the restaurant and asks Airdrie, "Hey, do you want to get some lunch here?" Dam looks at Airdrie's right side. Airdrie shakes his head and says, "No." Dam looks at him curiously and asks, "Why not?" Airdrie looks up at Dam and in a matter-of-fact tone responds, "My friend said the food in that restaurant is really terrible." Dam and Airdrie both stop at the same time and make it to their destination. Dam looks at a store name. The store sign has the name of the store, as it's called Palms Dealers. Airdrie nods and says, "Yeah, this is the place." They move forward as Airdrie opens the door for Dam, and both the men enter the store one by one. When both of them are inside, they move forward and look everywhere. The place has nothing but a window counter. All the lights are installed on top of the ceiling at the corners, and the place is dimly lit. The entire place is painted in black, the walls, ceiling, and even the floor, with a long red rug that leads to the window counter. Dam and Airdrie are walking straight to the counter. As they reach the counter, they have to wait for a while. So, they patiently stand there and wait for their turn to arrive. Dam looks at Airdrie and asks, "So, what does this guy sell?" Airdrie responds, "My friend said electronics." Dam asks again, "Anything else?" Airdrie shrugs and responds, "Not that I'm aware of." Dam and Airdrie are calmly waiting for the guy. Dam looks up for a second, then down, then to his side, towards Airdrie, and after a short while, he looks back up. Airdrie looks at his right, then he turns his head to the other side to look at Dam. At the same time, Dam moves his head to look at Airdrie. Dam asks, "So, where is this?" Dam's question is cut short as Palm arrives at the counter and cheerfully greets them. "Hello!" Dam gets spooked, and his eyes get big. He clearly wasn't expecting him to appear out of nowhere. He doesn't hesitate to show his true condition at that moment, as he says, "Jesus fucking Christ! You scared the shit out of me!" Palm is now behind the window counter. He is giving Dam a sinister laugh. He controls his laugh and composes himself as he says in a normal voice, "What you want?" Airdrie looks at him and responds, "A cell phone, please." Palm stares at Dam and Airdrie's faces. Then he looks at Airdrie before asking, "What's the name?" Dam looks at him before responding, "Dam Reach." Palm nods and asks Dam, "What kind of phone?" Airdrie responds before Dam as he says, "Whatever's on sale." Palm looks at both of them, and after a slight pause he says, "I'll be right back." Palm leaves the counter and enters a room behind the counter. The room has no doors, and Palm disappears inside. Dam looks at Airdrie as he says, "He seems pretty cool." Dam isn't expecting to hear a response from Palm as he isn't around. However, Palm had heard Dam's compliment as he says, "Thank you." Palm had responded to his compliment from the other room. He comes back to the counter, holding a long square object in his left hand. He puts a long, skinny black suitcase on the counter near the window. Palm puts the suitcase backward so no one else can see it. He opens the suitcase and shows Dam and Airdrie a very nice cell phone as he holds it out in his left hand. Palm tells both the men about the cell phone as he says, "Here it is, the best phone I can give you." Dam cuts him short and asks, "How much is it?" Palm responds quickly, $1,800. Dam looks at the cell phone, then at Palm's face as he says, "Fuck that." Palm looks at Dam with a straight face, still holding the cell phone out. Airdrie looks at Palm as well and emphasizes, I said whatever's on sale. Palm looks at Airdrie from the right and says, It is on sale. Airdrie shakes his head and asks, What else do you have? Palm puts the cell phone back in the suitcase and pulls out another cell phone. He holds it out and says, This is the second best. He is yet again cut off midway by Dam as he asks, How much? Palm responds, $1,799. Dam looks at him with rounded eyes and exclaims, Fuck, no! Airdrie pipes in and asks, How much is the third one? Palm responds, $1,700. Airdrie moves to the other one and asks, What about the fourth one? $1,600. Palm starts to respond, only to be cut off mid-sentence yet again. The fifth one? Airdrie asks. Palm says, $1,600. Airdrie moves ahead and asks, The sixth one? Palm says, $1,500. Airdrie asks, The seventh one? $1,500. Palm responds. Airdrie asked about the other one as he says, The eighth one? Palm says, $1,600. Airdrie stops him saying, Wait. The eighth one went up. Dam pipes in and says, Can you just show us the phones? Please? Palm turns the suitcase around and shows them a better view of the phones. Dam looks at one and instantly likes it as he says, Oh, I like this one. Dam points out the phone he likes the most and says, I think I've seen this phone sometime, back in the day. Airdrie looks up and responds, That's a 1980s phone. Dam looks back at the brick phone before asking, Do people still use it? Airdrie shakes his head and says, No. Dam nods his head and says, Well, I'll take it because it's old like me. Dam smiles and looks at Palm as he asks, How much? Palm responds calmly, $11,952.12. Dam stops smiling as he asks, What? Why? Palm responds nonchalantly, Because it's a valuable phone, never been used. Dam looks annoyed and asks for the final time, Okay, what is the cheapest phone you got? Palm looks back at Dam while pulls out a phone from his left hand. Palm says, Here. Dam looks at the phone and asks, What's that? Palm informs him shortly, A flip phone. Palm flips the phone and closes it. He looks up at Dam, removing his own vision from the phone, and says, Only $40. Dam looks at Palm, then back at the phone before asking, What can it do? Palm shrugs and responds, It can call. Palm's left thumb opens the flip phone, and soon enough, he starts dialing some numbers. His thumb presses the call button as a ringing voice comes from the flip phone. Someone's static voice calls out from the other side as Dam and Airdrie listen. Hello? Who this? Anyone there? Hello? Palm's thumb closes the flip phone, disconnecting the call. Then he looks up at both friends and says, And text. Palm's left thumb opens the flip phone again. Unlike the previous time, this thumb is writing a text and sends it. Palm shows the message to Dam and Airdrie as he brings the phone in front of their faces. The message reads, Hello, Palm. Dam thinks for a moment, then looks at the phone before making up his mind. The decision has been taken, as he says, All right, I'll take it then. Dam's right hand puts the $40 under the window slot of the counter and opens his hand in the slot between the window and the counter. Palm is looking at Dam's right hand open in front of him, from beneath the counter's window, while he is still holding the flip phone. Palm looks up at Dam and says suggestively, Let me put the contacts' names for you. Dam looks up at him as he says, Oh, okay then? Palm opens the flip phone again and asks, What names do you want to put in first? Dam looks at Airdrie before responding, My friend and partner, Airdrie. Palm looks at the phone and then Airdrie as he asks, What's your number? Airdrie shows his cell phone as he brings it closer to Palm's face. Palm starts typing the number on the phone. Once he's done feeding Airdrie's number, he looks back up at Dam and asks, Anyone else? Dam looks sad as he remembers Noah. With the same sad expression, he looks up at Palm and says, And this one girl to remember? Noah. Palm drawls. Oh, K. He then looks up and mutters, Ah, a bit odd. Palm looks back at the flip phone before asking, What's the number of that Noah? Dam pulls out a small ripped paper from his right pocket and holds it up. In a sad tone, he says, Her number on this. Before Dam can even finish the sentence, Palm quickly types the number and asks again, Anyone else? Dam thinks for a moment and responds, Oh, and the cleaning lady. Palm looks confused at first, but then, without any questions, he starts typing her name on the flip phone. Airdrie asks curiously, The cleaning lady? Dam looks at Airdrie, but Palm pipes in and asks, What's her number? Oh, it's... Dam starts saying something, but stops immediately after a moment. He looks at Airdrie again, while Airdrie is looking at Dam as well. I don't know her number, but can you just put her name instead? Dam asks Palm as he looks at him. Palm shakes his head as he responds to his request, saying, Number it has to come with a phone number. Dam looks sad again, but then says, Oh, K, what about my son's number then? Palm types the word son in his contacts. He looks up at Dam and asks, Your son's number? Dam responds in a heartbeat, 402-43-465-47. Palm types the number on the flip phone. When he's done, he looks at Dam and silently waits for him to tell another number if he has. Dam simply says, That's it. Palm says, Well, here you go then. Palm drops the flip phone on Dam's hand palm. The phone lands on Dam's open hand, and he quickly tightens his grip on the phone as soon as it touches his skin. Dam and Airdrie are starting to walk out of the store. He opens the store's door for Airdrie before making his way out of the door as well. However, before he can reach his car, parked at the other side of the street, Palm calls out and says, Remember, when you buy a phone from me, my phone plan is $15 a year. It'll be on your phone to remind you next year. But if you don't pay it on time, Dam and Airdrie are looking at Palm while standing between the doors. Palm looks back at them happily and finishes off what he was saying. You get cut off. Dam looks at him and responds, All right. Thank you. Palm cheerfully greets them goodbye as he says, Come again, and tell your friends about me. Dam closes the door. Dam and Airdrie are walking on the sidewalk. He looks at Airdrie and says, Wow, $15 for a year. What a deal. Dam flips his phone on. Airdrie looks at him and says, Yeah, when my friend bought his phone from here, he said there was nothing wrong with it. No problems at all. A right hand is carefully pouring vegetable juice in a plastic cup that is held by the left hand. The left hand is gliding towards a computer desk as it holds the plastic cup tightly to not spill the juice all over the place. Palm sits down on the chair placed near the computer desk as he puts the plastic cup containing the vegetable juice on the left side of the desk. There is a closed notebook placed on the right side of the computer desk that seems untouched for quite a while. Palm placed his hand on the mouse as he moves the mouse a bit to bring the computer screen to life. As the screen turns on, due to the movement of the cursor, a sign appears that reads, Product On. Palm looks at the sign keenly, and without looking, he slowly grabs the plastic cup from the desk and takes a sip of his vegetable juice. When he's done drinking the juice, he puts the plastic cup back on the desk and pulls out a pen from the holder. Palm holds the pen in his left hand while he starts moving the mouse around with his right hand. At the computer screen, the cursor goes towards the Product On sign. A live video starts playing on the screen. While he gets engaged in watching the video, Palm's right hand opens the notebook that is on the other side of the desk. He brings it forward to write whatever is on the video. There is a POV shot of Dam holding his flip-flop phone in the video. Airdrie says in a static voice, So, I have a question. Dam's static voice reaches out. What is it? Airdrie asks in a static voice. Do you know the cleaning lady's phone number? No, responds Dam in a static voice. Why do I think you know the cleaning lady's number? Or does she have your so... Airdrie stops midway.